we are going to read some of the puppy plays. And so, guys, you noticed that I am putting my light so you can see my hands and stuff, but not my face. And so, guys, let's get started. We have 2 cameras just in case that it does not work. It's this puppy screen that you guys have been seeing, and it's the face reveal of Troxy the Corgi. Yay! And so, guys, he is going to be sitting here watching the puppy on my iPad screen. And so, guys, let's read. Hi! Chapter 1. Date, April 22. Time, 4 p.m. Event, Caring Club, first meeting. President, Lizzie Peterson. Notes by Lizzie Peterson. Other attendants, Charles and Betsy Peterson, Maria. Miss Dobbins, Julie, shelter employee, Sammy. Miss Dobbins and Lizzie opened the meeting with an explanation of what the Caring Club is all about. Our mission is to learn about the best ways to take care for and help our animal friends, to educate the public about animals and pets, and to do good deeds for our community. History of the club. Lizzie read about another Caring Club in some other town and asked Miss Dobbins if they could start one at Caring Paws Animal Shelter, where Lizzie volunteers. Lizzie is president because the whole thing was her idea. Lizzie's younger brother, Charles, has joined, and their mother, Betsy, will always attend meetings as often as possible, as long as she doesn't have to watch their younger brother, Adam, as known as the Bean, who might be too squirmy to sit still through a whole Caring Club meeting. The Petersons are all very familiar with the problems pets face since they are a foster family. For puppies, Maria is Lizzie's best friend and also an animal lover, although she loves horses best of all. Sammy is Charles' best friend who lives next door. Meeting continued with a brainstorming session about things the Caring Club could do. For example, write informative letters to the editor of the newspaper. Write informative letters to the editor of the newspaper about pets and how to care for them properly, like not leaving them in your car when it's warm out. Be kind to every dog and cat and horse we meet. Definition of fostering, taking care of puppies who need homes just until the perfect forever home found for each one. Teach our own pets, for example, the Peterson's puppy, Buddy, the cutest, sweetest dog ever, how to be good canine citizens with nice manners. Have a bake sale or dog wash, like a car wash only with dogs, or something else to raise funds for Caring Paws. Take our well-behaved dogs to school and workplaces to show off their manners and maybe also some tricks they can do. 4 p.m., like 4:30 p.m. meeting. Suddenly adjourned! Exclamation later. It was just as well that Lizzie decided to give up on taking notes, since no matter how fast she was scribbled, it would have taken her way too long. to write down everything that happened that spring. Afternoon, in the middle, at the first Caring Club meeting, what happened was this. First, there was a knock at the door. Miss Dobbins, Andrew, the boy who worked at the front desk at the animal shelter, poked his head in. His cheeks were flushed pink, and he stumbled over his words. I think you might want to come see what just arrived. Miss Dobbins stood up. Thank you, Andrew, she said. There was something in Andrew's face that made everybody else stand up too and follow Miss Dobbins out to the parking lot. In front of the shelter, there Lizzie saw a big shiny black car pull up at an angle to the front door. The car's windows were rolled down just a bit. Lizzie couldn't believe what she was seeing, so she stepped forward to take a closer look. At every window, sniffing and snuffing and snorting, puppy paws pressed against the glass. Lizzie saw brown puppies and white puppies and black puppies, fluffy puppies and sleek puppies, big puppies and tiny puppies. Lizzie had never seen so many puppies in one place. The car door opened, and a tall, gangly man unfolded himself from the front seat, holding back 3 puppies that tried to climb out after him. He wore worn, faded overalls with a clean white shirt underneath. He wasn't handsome. In fact, he was kind of funny looking. But there was something about him that Lizzie liked right away. He tipped his red baseball cap and smiled at Miss Dobbins. "Hello, ma'am," he said. "Mr. Beauregard." Miss Dobbins stared at the car and at the man and at the puppies. "What is this?" The man pushed back his cap, scratched his head, and smiled shyly. And Lizzie found herself smiling back at him. "Puppies," he drawled in the Southern accent. "A whole parcel of puppies." "I can't see that." Miss Dobbins turned to the others. "Mr. Beauregard is new to the town, but he has already become a very generous supporter of Caring Paws." Lizzie knew that meant he might not look it, but this man was R-I-C-H, and he loved animals. That was good. Caring Paws always needed money for dog food and cat litter and flea shampoo and veterinarian bills. These are some other friends of the shelter. Miss Dobbins swept a hand toward the members of the Caring Paws Club, "and I think we all want to know what you're doing with a carload of puppies. I bought the whole lot from a man selling puppies out of a big white truck with red stripes on it down a Route 9. I couldn't stand to see the little critters being sold like they were apples or corn at a farm stand. So I gave the man every cent in my pockets, and I told him I never wanted to see him around these parts again." Miss Dobbins frowned. "I've seen that truck. It makes me so mad that someone would sell puppies that way. I've called the authorities, but they say there's no law against it." "Why is it so terrible?" asked Sammy. "If I was driving past that truck with my mom and dad, I'd want to stop and get a puppy." "That's exactly it," said Miss Dobbins. She began a lecture that Lizzie had heard many times before. If you want to add a pet to your family, there's lots to think about. You need to be sure you're ready for responsibility. Once you've talked it over, you can adopt a pet from a shelter or buy one from a responsible breeder. But buying a puppy from a truck, just on the spur of the moment, that's not a good idea." Mr. Beauregard let out his booming laugh. "That's for sure," he said. "As soon as I did it, I thought, now that Daniel, I'd love to keep every one of these rascals myself, but I'm always traveling for business. Then I figured out that you'd know what to do, so I drove the whole bunch of them over here." He ducked his head and smiled guiltily at Miss Dobbins. "Course, I'll cover and any extra cost. You rack up taking care of the little peanuts." "Well," said Miss Dobbins, "I guess we'd better start sorting them out." While Lizzie and the others watched Miss Dobbins, Mr. Beauregard, Andrew, and Julie began to unload the puppies. First, Miss Dobbins pulled a chunky black lab pup out of the back seat. She handed the pup to Andrew, who headed into the shelter to find an empty kennel. Mr. Beauregard got into the car and passed along a shaggy white pup that looked a lot like Snowball, a feisty West Highlands white terrier Lizzie's family had once fostered. Then came 3 puppies in a row, another lab, a squirmy Dachshund, and a sort of beagly-looking brown and white dog, whose long, droopy ears reminded Lizzie of Patches. Another foster puppy. "Oh, he's so cute," said Lizzie. The puppy sneezed. "Cute, yes," said Miss Dobbins, "but there's a good chance this puppy might be sick too." "I think these puppies came from a puppy mill," Mr. Beauregard nodded. "A few of these puppies are in need of some TLC. I don't know what that forms out to be." Lizzie knew what TLC meant. Tender loving care. Oh. But even though she had heard of a puppy mill before, she wasn't exactly sure what it was. She knew that paper was made at a paper mill, and steel was made at a steel mill. So a puppy mill. She asked, "What's that?" "Like a factory of puppies, for puppies," Miss Dobbins sighed. "Exactly. People who run puppy mills keep mother dogs in cages and make them have litter after litter of puppies, just so they can sell them." She started to talk faster and more loudly, the way she always did when she was upset about something having to do with animals. "The puppies grow up with very little exposures to people in overcrowded conditions where diseases can be spread easily. The puppies are sold at pet stores or through classified ads to owners who don't know that they may be buying a sick dog or a mixed-up puppy with behavior problems. That can't be solved." Now Miss Dobbins looked really sad. "There are already plenty of unwanted puppies in the world. and we don't need any more. Puppy mills are a terrible, terrible thing. But aren't they illegal? Mom asked. She held up a Dutch sun and rocked it like a baby. They must be. How could anyone treat dogs that way? They're banned in some places, but not in this state. Our lecturer hasn't passed a law against puppy mills yet. Miss Dobbins said. She sighed and went back to unloading the car. The puppies just kept coming. Andrew and Julie took the dogs into the shelter and settled them into kennels. Lizzie saw a tiny long-haired Tzu, a German shepherd with large ears and a pointy nose that looks like Scout when she was a puppy, said when he saw it. And another lab puppy, a yellow one this time. Lizzie wished she could hug and kiss and hold every single one of them. But Miss Dobbins wanted to get them settled as quickly as possible. We're out of kennels, reported Andrew after he'd taken the yellow lab and puppy inside. I was afraid of that, said Miss Dobbins. And there are still 2 puppies left, brother and sister. By the looks of them, she reached into the car. One more time, and Mr. Beauregard handed over 2 teeny tiny puppies. Their heads were shaped just like apples, and both had short, fur, perky ears and big, bulgy, shiny brown eyes. This one is the big, bulgy, shiny brown eyes. This one is the boy. Miss Dobbins held up a brown and white one, and this one is the girl. She showed off a black and white one. Lizzie could hardly believe how small they were. They snuggled together, fitting perfectly into Miss Dobbins' cupped hands. Lizzie couldn't help herself. She walked right over to Miss Dobbins and put out one finger to gently pet the black and white puppy's tiny head. Chihuahuas, said Lizzie. You're absolutely right, said Miss Dobbins. Chapter 2. Lizzie was always right about dog breeds. Charles knew. Okay. Chapter 2. Lizzie was always right about dog breeds. Charles knew that it was because of the dog breeds of the world poster in her room. She had practically memorized it. So, if she had practically memorized it, so even if she had never seen a bride in real life, she could tell you exactly what it looked like. Huge, shaggy, where it came from France, and what it was used for guarding sheep. Charles had to admit that Lizzie knew a lot about dogs, Chihuahuas, who are going to need a foster home. Miss Dobbins went on. She looked right at Mom. When she said that, Mom gulped. 2 puppies? She asked. You want us to foster 2 puppies at once? Miss Dobbins nodded. These 2 will probably do the best if they are together for now, she said. They may have to be separated eventually, but I hate to do it on their very first night in a new place. If you could just take them for a few days until I find homes for some of the other puppies. Sammy nudged. Charles, come on. You have to take them, he whispered. We'll do it, said Charles. Mom turned to him. But what about our trip? Never mind the trip, Lizzie burst out. This is way more important. Charles bit his lip. He had almost forgotten about the vacation his family had been planning for the last few weeks. The Petersons planned to leave Buddy with Charles and Lizzie's aunt Amanda, who ran a doggy daycare center, then drive up to Adventureland, the coolest amusement park ever. Charles had looked forward to it all spring. He even saved up his allowance for extra rides tickets. He planned to try to set a world record for riding roller coaster. Charles looked at the puppies. The brown and white one trembled and shivered. Was he cold? He cocked his head and blinked up at Charles. What's going on? Who's going to take care of me? I'm so scared. Why is he shaking like that? Sammy asked. Chihuahuas are known for shivering and trembling, Lizzie said right away. But Charles could tell she didn't know why. They shiver for all sorts of reasons, explained Miss Dobbins. She tucked the puppy in closer to her chest. Sometimes they tremble because they're excited, and sometimes because they're scared. They also get cold very, very easily. Because their coats are so short, it's up to the owner to figure out why they're shivering and help make them feel better. Kind of like when the bean was a baby and he cried and cried, and we had to figure out if it was because he was hungry or had a wet diaper, or if maybe something was hurting him. Charles asked. Exactly, said Miss Dobbins. In this case, I think maybe our little boy here was feeling insecure. See how he stopped shaking when I held him closer. Sure enough, the puppy's body was still now. He gazed up at Charles with his big, bulgy brown eyes. Sorry, guys, that was just my garage opening. Sorry, very, very sorry. Miss Dobbins raised her eyebrows. Well, now that you've had your first lesson in Chihuahuas, what do you think? She asked. If you can't take them, I'll have to start making some calls, but it won't be easy to find someone who can foster both puppies. Let me try to... Yep, the other camera's dead. No backup then. Charles took a deep breath. He would hate to see those two puppies go to different homes. He could tell puppies go to different homes. He could tell by the way they snuggled up together that they loved each other. Lizzie is right. Forget about our trip. These puppies need us. We'll take them. Mom gave him a look. The kind of look that meant, hold on there, buddy. You're not the family decider. Oops, can we please foster these puppies? Said Charles. I should at least call your dad. Mom began. He'll say yes, and you know he will. Charles knew that his dad would agree. For one thing, Dad loved puppies. For another, He didn't even like amusement parks. He always said roller coasters made him feel oogie. He would probably be happy if he didn't have to drive all the way up to Adventureland. Mom took another look at the puppies in Miss Dobbin's arms. She sighed. Ordinarily, I would say no, 2 puppies, when we already have Buddy at home. It just seems to like too much. But now that I know about puppy mills, I know these puppies I have such a hard beginning. They really need our help, don't they? Miss Dobbins nodded. They really do. The 2 puppies in her hands squirmed until they were all smushed up together. The brown and white puppy gnawed on his sister's tiny ear while she put a miniature paw on her brother's teensy nose. Charles wondered how anything would be so small. "Aw," said Mom. "How can I resist? We'll take them all right." Charles reached out for the pups. "Wow, they're so light," he said. When Miss Dobbins handed them over, the puppies hardly weighed a thing. It was like holding 2 butterflies. He looked down at them. 2 sets of huge brown eyes blinked back up at him. He leaned over to kiss the puppies. The brown and white one chewed on his chin, while the black and white one licked him gently. Both of them scrambled at his face with their tiny paws. "Hello, hello! Want to be my friend, please?" "These puppies might be a real handful," Miss Dobbins warned. "Chihuahuas are not the easiest dog to train." Charles hardly listened. He stared down at the adorable puppies in his arms. Also, Chihuahuas are very delicate. Because they're so small, they can get hurt easily. You have to really keep an eye on them so they don't get stepped on or fall and hurt their heads. Miss Dobbins paused. "And you might want to keep them separated from Buddy and from the Bean, at least in the beginning. Chihuahuas don't always get along so well with other dogs or small children. We're always careful about that with our new foster puppies," said Mom. "I know," said Miss Dobbins. "Why am I fussing with you? You Petersons are the best foster family I've ever had. Have a great time, and call me if you have any problems." She waved as she headed back into the shelter to look after other puppies. A moment later, Andrew popped back out. "Miss Dobbins thought you might need extra stuff with 2 puppies to take care of," he said. He gave Mom 2 tiny collars and 2 leashes. Lizzie came over to Charles. "Don't I get to hold one of the puppies?" "That's a good idea," said Mom. "Each of you should take one and hold it very carefully as we drive home, since we don't have our puppy crate in the back of the van today." Charles looked down again at the puppies in his arms. He hated to let one of them go, even for a minute. The brown and white one chewed on the black and white one's tiny tail. What made the black and white one squeak. They were so cute, he could hardly stand it. Should he give Lizzie the brown and white boy or the black and white girl? While he thought, about it. The brown and white puppy reached up its paw and touched him gently on the chin. Charles felt his heart melt. He handed the black and white puppy to Lizzie, and immediately both puppies started to yip and whine. "Wait! Where are you taking my brother? Come back! Come back! What are you doing with my sister?" The brown and white puppy squirmed and struggled, trying to get out of Charles' grasp. He nipped at Charles' fingers hard. His teeth might be tiny, but they were sharp as needles. It really hurt, but Charles did not want to yell at the poor puppy. "Hold on there, cutie," he said. "Your sister's not going anywhere. Don't worry." He and Lizzie got into the van, still holding the squirmy puppies, and Mom helped them buckle in next to each other in the back seat. I don't want to be in no back seat. The puppies calmed down as soon as they could see each other. Charles and Lizzie put on their collars and snapped on their leashes. "I guess Miss Dobbins was right," said Mom. "These two really do like to be together." By the time Mom got into the driver's seat and started the van, Charles' puppy had begun to gnaw on his own leash. "You're a little chewer, aren't you?" Charles asked as he carefully untangled the leash from the puppy's sharp teeth. Charles could not believe how big and shiny the puppy's eyes were. He looked so innocent as he blinked up at Charles. "Did I do something wrong?" "Wait!" Charles sat up straight in his seat as Mom drove down the road. "We forgot to ask what their names were." Lizzie looked down at the puppy in her own arms. "I'm sure they don't have any names, since they came from a puppy mill, but Miss Dobbins always says we can give our foster puppies temporary names." Charles thought for a second. He loved to name puppies. Maybe since there were two of them, they should have matching names. How about Ping and Pong? Lizzie raised an eyebrow. "I don't think so. They're dogs, not white plastic balls." Charles thought some more. "Pip and Squeak? 'Cause they're so little." "That's cute," Mom said from the front seat, but Lizzie shook her head. "We can think of something better," she said. "Anyway, let's go to know them first. But then we can find names that fit their personalities." Charles stroked his puppy's tiny ears. "These homes really soon. I hope you're right, Charles," said Mom as she pulled into the driveway at home. "We really have our work cut out for us. These 2 plus Buddy equals a whole lot of puppies." Chapter 3, guys. So I hope you liked that. And I'm sorry that you couldn't see the words because my backup one, if